Why is he worried?
Oh, he has to keep watch over it at night. We decided to keep it up until harvest. Except that means someone has to guard it, every night. Henrik pulled the short straw this time. And he's dead tired because of it.
Henrik?
He's my... sweetheart, I suppose. It's complicated.
Complicated? Is something wrong?
Well, since you asked, my parents forbid us from seeing each other. They're all up in arms over it. They're just not fond of him. So we have to meet in secret, which is impossible now, since Henrik doesn't have the time because he has to watch the maypole.
Well, what if someone took over for him and he had some free time tonight?
I'd like to see that. He's tired, but it's a matter of honor for him. Besides, the others wouldn't be happy if they found out.
We'll see. What do you have for sale?
Thank you, and take care.
Greetings, neighbor.
That's a beautiful maypole you have there. You don't see that every day. I reckon all the other villagers must envy you.
They sure do. Them Geliovites try to steal it, but our fellas kick their asses. Why are you so interested in it anyway?
I know from experience how hard it is to guard a maypole like that. I used to stand guard myself.
Well, there you go. Then I'm sure you know what it's like to be envied by everyone around. And if someone had bad intentions, Henrik would show them how we do things here in Tachov. That's the one thing he's good for.
I wanted to ask about Henrik.
What about him?
Did he do something to you? Sounds like you're not exactly fond of him.
Aye, I'm not. He's been getting on my nerves ever since he got together with our Manka. I'm afraid he'll mess with her head and run off with her. Just like his bloody brothers did.
Where did they go?
What do I know? One day they just packed up and wandered off. The village wasn't good enough for them, I reckon. I wouldn't mind if someone went and beat the thought of Manka out of his head. Maybe someone not from around here.
Why not? I could manage that.
He's not much of a fighter, but I reckon if you call him a vagrant or something, it'll surely rile him up. And I'll remember you did me a little favor.
Listen, Prochek. Those Geliovites are plotting something against you.
What? Bloody hell.
Old Olbram offered me some groschen to steal your maypole.
Damn it! That bitter old fool just won't give up. As if it wasn't enough that we fairly and honourably took theirs, and then fairly and honourably kicked their asses when they tried to take ours. It's a tradition. That's just how it goes. But for him to send some bloody outsider like that...
Hey, this bloody outsider just did you a favour and told you everything, though he didn't have to.
Aye, he did. I can clearly see he's an honest bloke, and we value honesty around here.
Thanks. I see the people from Takov are honest too.
That we are. Speaking of which, I reckon it would be fair to repay Olbram in kind. Let me know if you're interested. I came up with a nice little pastime that's sure to make Olbram shit himself.
This must be the ugliest horse I've seen in my life.
I apologize. Good day to you.
Oh, that four-legged ogre gave me a fright.
Kurva! Burning it.
God bless.
What is this hooved monster? Blech.
Christ, what a day.
God bless.
Well, I'm about half done. Herrgott, that's not good.
Aye, almost done. I hate sweeping.
Christ almighty.
Christ, so much dust.
I've almost got it done. I have to move it. And that's it. I'll never finish it like this. I should move it. This is useless. It's cold. This is going to take a while yet. This will be done in no time. It's already cooled off. It's not worth it. All finished.
What do you want here, you scoundrel? Why'd you barge in here?
Would you repair a few things for me?
Great. I'm glad you found what you were looking for. Take care, friend.
You have a beautiful maypole. Does that mean life here is just as beautiful?
Aye, we're doing pretty well, and our fellas guard that maypole well.
But if they're guarding it, who's doing the other work?
That's why they take turns. Our El Sheik was guarding it not long ago, but now the neighbor's lad, Henyik, is in charge of it. At least he doesn't have the time to fool around at night.
Is Al-Sheik your son?
Aye, he's our boy, but he's giving Prochek a headache because he doesn't like having to herd sheep. Ask him about it if you want.
Do you know Henyik at all?
He started going out with our monka a while ago, but we put a stop to it. In short, he's not exactly the kind of fella I want in my family.
Why? Did he do something to you?
I don't want him whisking Manka away so we never see her again. His parents came here shortly after that terrible plague. There was a vacant farm, so they settled there. They had 3 sons, Henyik being the youngest. Say, have you met his brothers?
I haven't. Though I can't say I made an effort to.
Well, you couldn't have met them even if you wanted, because they're not here. Both of them left. They say the younger one had a sweetheart in Troskovitz and took her with him. Nobody knows where they ended up. Just drop it, will you? Gossiping about it won't do anyone any good.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You make a good point.
I'm telling you, one of these days, he's going to pack up and disappear. And I don't want him taking our monka along with him. He doesn't like folks talking about it. But wandering's in his blood whether he likes it or not. He's even got into fights over it. Just mentioning it is enough for him to clench his fists. I don't want Monka wasting her time with someone like him. You should try that on him.
Show me your wares. I'd like to discuss the price.
Aye, I'm listening.
Do you accept?
Look, offer a bit more and we can make a deal. Aye, that sum will convince me. Pleasure doing business. God be with you.
That's a beautiful maypole. We never had one quite like it back home.
Aye, ours is the prettiest. And also the only one in these parts. That's why we keep a close eye on it. Nobody's managed to steal it in recent years, but not for a lack of trying. Except, I feel sorry for my poor Hinyik, having to worry about it.
Why is he worried?
Oh, he has to keep watch over it at night. We decided to keep it up until harvest. Except that means someone has to guard it every night. Hinyik pulled the short straw this time, and he's dead tired because of it.
Henyuk?
He's my sweetheart, I suppose. It's complicated.
Complicated? Is something wrong?
Well, since you asked, my parents forbid us from seeing each other. They're all up in arms over it. They're just not fond of him. So we have to meet in secret, which is impossible now, since Henyek doesn't have the time because he has to watch the maypole.
Well, what if someone took over for him and he had some free time tonight?
I'd like to see that. He's tired, but it's a matter of honor for him. Besides, the others wouldn't be happy if they found out.
We'll see. How's Alshik?
Tuh, how do you think? Great, of course. Pa's favorite.
What do you mean?
Oh, you know. Pa came up with this idea that he'd send Al-Sheikh to the bailiffs to learn to read and write. And that someday, when he's older, he'll get his own rat house.
Well, that's nice of him, isn't it?
I just wish he thought of what's best for me from time to time. It's always Al-Sheikh this, Al-Sheikh that. Ugh! Why even bother?
What's the hold-up, innkeeper?
What do you have for sale?
Maybe next time then.
I'm sorry. I'm a bit peckish.
Did you hear?
Greetings. Do you need something?
How are you doing? I'm Henry.
Nice to meet you. I'm Zdenyik. I'm a storyteller. I could tell you stories so sad they'd make the devil cry. Or would you prefer something so scary it'll make the hairs on your ass turn white? But it's a lot of hard work for me. Now, if you had something to drink or a couple of groschen, that might help loosen my tongue.
Dead man had been floating down the river for at least a week. Without anyone noticing. Exactly. And that's not all. The dead man had a gold chain round his neck.
How can I know if it'll be worth it?
If you don't believe me, ask anyone. They all know me in the village, and they all know I'm good.
So they all sing your praises, even if you stutter?
I'll tell you what. You can listen for yourself and see what you think. Then, at the end, if you think it's worth it, you can pay me or buy me a drink. So what kind of story would you like to hear?
I like stories that can teach me something. Stories with a moral.
Haven't you heard enough of those in church? But it's not a problem. I have just the tale for you. And it's not one you'll hear from any priest. So, once upon a time, there lived in these very lands 2 brothers. The older was called Kuba, the younger, Matthias. They were both woodcutters, like their father and his father before him. One day, at the height of summer, they were working in the woods. The air was as hot as a furnace, so Matthias went to a nearby pond to cool himself. But as he was leaning over the cold water, there was a loud splash. His axe had got loose from his belt. In haste, he began to search the muddy bed of the pond, and his hands soon touched something hard and heavy. He pulled it out and could not believe his eyes. He pulled out an axe. Yes, but not his old one. It was an axe made of pure silver.
Good God. I'd grab that without a second thought.
Maybe you would, but Matthias would never. He was an honest man, and with a big swing he threw the silver axe back. He searched the pond again, and this time he pulled out his own axe. Nothing but dull iron and old wood.
I didn't see you there.
Just as well. I fell asleep during the sermon.
I'm not surprised.
The sermons have been awful.
I reckon that was the right choice.
I hear about the woman
Who knows who the silver axe belonged to?
Well, quite. Listen on. Matthias was just about to leave when suddenly a water goblin came out of the pond, silver axe in his hands, and he said, "You're a righteous man, Matthias, and for your honesty, you may keep both axes." Matthias, not hanging around for the goblin to change his mind, took up both axes, gave us thanks, and ran to tell Kuba all about it. Kuba, however, was not best pleased with his little brother's fortune. He deeply envied Matthias for his newfound wealth, so he set out to try the same thing. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him straight to the pond, threw his own axe in, and began a pretend search for it. Yet Kuba had no luck. He pulled out the axe he'd thrown in himself, so he tried again. Tricked by sunlight, he grabbed something shiny, only to pull out his old iron axe again. Enraged, he hurled his axe back into the water and yelled, "Fuck this axe! I want a silver one." But the water goblin heard his shameful cry and was greatly upset by Kuba's greed. So, when Kuba reached down into the water for a third time, the water goblin seized his hand, pulled him down a hole to the dark depths, and drowned him.
Oh, that's so cruel. I feel sorry for Kuba.
Aye, and so did Matthias. He went to the water goblin and begged for his brother's body so he could take him home and bury him. But the path back from the pond led over a steep hill, and carrying the weight of the waterlogged body exhausted Matthias. He stopped to rest by an old oak tree, and he used a silver axe to cut off a branch that would serve as a walking stick. But it wasn't enough. Somehow, it was still getting harder to continue up the hill. Then Matthias realized it wasn't his brother's body that was weighing him down. It was the silver axe. The axe was the cause of all this trouble. So he started bashing the silver axe against a big stone with all his might, trying to destroy it. Yet no matter what, he couldn't even make a dent. With the last of his strength, Matthias climbed to the top of the hill. He knew he could go no further, so he found a pretty spot with a view over the valley and dug his brother a grave. There, he buried both his brother and the silver axe that had brought such pain upon them. His final act was to stick the oak branch in the ground by the grave. But lo and behold, the branch grew green leaves and became a tree. The locals have had no dealings with the water goblin since then, but some have had the bad luck to bump into him. And when you walk by the pier, where it all happened, you can still hear his chuckling.
That was a very nice story.
Story? What story? It's the truth.
Why hasn't anyone gone looking for the axe then?
Because it brings misfortune. Didn't you listen to me at all? Look for yourself if you wish. Rock Tower Pond isn't far from here. The Water Goblin's Pier is somewhere among the reeds. But leave me out of it. I'm fine here with my drink. It was good to see you, my friend.
That's a beautiful maypole you have there. You don't see that every day. I reckon all the other villagers must envy you.
They sure do. Them Geliovites try to steal it, but our fellas kick their asses. Why are you so interested in it anyway?
I know from experience how hard it is to guard a maypole like that. I used to stand guard myself.
Well, there you go. Then I'm sure you know what it's like to be envied by everyone around. And if someone had bad intentions, Henrik would show them how we do things here in Tachov. That's the one thing he's good for.
I wanted to ask about Henrik.
What about him?
Did he do something to you? Sounds like you're not exactly fond of him.
Aye, I'm not. He's been getting on my nerves ever since he got together with our Manka. I'm afraid he'll mess with her head and run off with her, just like his bloody brothers did.
Where did they go?
What do I know? One day they just packed up and wandered off. Their village wasn't good enough for them, I reckon. I wouldn't mind if someone went and beat the thought of Manka out of his head. Maybe someone not from around here.
You're not the first to mention something like that.
I reckon Voika told you about it already, didn't she? No wonder. We both only want what's best for our daughter.
That shepherd, Alshik, is he your son?
Aye, that's my boy. He's going to be really important one day. I arranged for him to learn from Bailiff Trush, so he'll have a better life. But now it's his turn to look after the livestock, so he can't go there. What a waste of time.
When are you going to pay me back?
I know. It's always.
What's new around here?
I promise. You'll have it
Nothing
back
new.
this time next week.
It's quiet here, fortunately.
You know how it is. It's easy to forget.
Believe me, it keeps me up.
Show me your wares.
But I just.
Ah, well, what can you do?
Look,
Farewell, then.
why don't you drop by and we can talk about it?
Pervert. I know exactly what you meant. You'll get your money back, don't worry.
All right, just don't take it the wrong way. I'll give you another week.
There. Better already.
So, this is your famous maypole.
I'm too conspicuous during the day. Better to try at night.
What are you here for, friend? It's about those two idiot hands of mine, Venser and Franzi. They drove off with a cart full of goods towards Semin, and they never came back.
Do you want me to find them?
Just so. But more importantly, I want to know where my cart ended up, and especially the cargo. Go to Semin and find out what the bloody hell happened.
Have you any idea which way they might have gone? I could have a look along the way. Maybe their cart broke down or something.
There's only one road to Semin that can take a cart. It leads from Takov to Troskovitz, and then to the south. But I've got a bad feeling they got up to no good in Semin.
Those two hands of yours, Venser and Franzi, what can you tell me about them?
Can't tell you much. They're wandering laborers. I don't think they wanted to stay here with me for long, but these days I can use all the help I can get.
Were they suspicious in any way?
No, they worked hard. They ain't no slackers. And I can't say that about everyone.
What was the cart carrying?
Bugger and bollocks. All sorts of stuff. I'd say Lord Semin wants to rearm his garrison with new equipment. There were some hunting swords, bastard swords, crossbow bolts. I also fixed the trigger on young Semin's crossbow. And some kitchen stuff. Sacks of charcoal, all sorts of things. There's a good month's work in that cartload.
All right, I'll get right on it then.
Go ahead. And if you find that pair of fools drunk, kick their asses for me.
Gladly. I'll kick some sobriety into them. can I ask you about that cart?
What is it you need to know?
All right, I'm on my way.
Time's wasting. Run along.
This could use some repairs.
How can I help you today, friend?
I'll have a look at the wares.
Pleasure doing business. Take care.
There's a couple more things I'd like to ask about smithing.
Ask away.
Thanks. That's all I need to know. I'm still not really sure of myself in the forge. Could you show me again how it's done?
Why not? Better to practice now than fuck up an order. Why don't you forge me another hunting sword? Have you got what you need?
Yeah, I have.
Let's see what you can do then. Are you gonna get started? Furnace is cold now. Give it a practice try. Some things, like swords, are too long to fit in the fire. You have to heat it up bit by bit. Try poking it around for a bit. Now get the furnace nice and hot. There's a lever above you. Give it a pull. Works the bell up. You can tell the temperature by the colour. You won't be able to tell when it's in the fire. You have to take it out from time to time and take a look. Try it out. See? It's the color of straw, which is what you want. And you heated the whole thing up. Nicely done. Now you can go straight to the anvil. Try moving the sword along the anvil so you can get the hang of it. Now take the hammer and try hitting it a few times. See the sparks? That's the sign of a good strike. The more sparks, the better. Also, you can hammer with different degrees of power. A stronger hit will do more, but it'll tire you out faster. Try giving it a few blows, as hard as you can, so I can see how strong you are. That's got a nice ring to it. Of course, if it was all about hitting an anvil with a hammer, any dolt could do it. You've got to hammer the workpiece evenly. One hit next to the other. Very nice. You're doing just fine. But when I say evenly, I mean it. A sword has two sides, like a lot of other things, including myself. Turn it over and continue on the other side. Nice. Now try forging it on both sides. The closer it is to being finished, the more it will take on the shape you want. It'll cool off soon anyway. It's cooled now. You can't do it all in one go. You've got to put it back in the furnace from time to time. Sometimes you've got to go there and back all day. But it's all part of the craft. Now, get back to the forge and heat it all up again, like before. The whole thing is heated up now, so come over to the anvil. The ring you want. Sparks. That's the stuff. See how it's taking on the right shape? That's how you can tell it's almost finished. Now, I've got a piece of advice for you. Hammer to a rhythm. When I hammer a piece to a beat, the work goes by easier. Sometimes I'll whistle to myself to keep the rhythm going. Keep on whistling. Make sure you keep up the tempo. There you go. You've got it finished. All that's left is to temper it, and the sword will be done. The rest is just tweaking.
God bless.
Henrik, what about your brothers?
What? Why do you care?
No, it's just that I've been hearing some interesting things about them around town.
Pah, let them talk. I don't know anything about them. They left.
Why did they leave?
I'm not sure. This place isn't too bad, but I reckon they wanted to see the world. Penna left after Pa died, and Rudlin right after Ma's passing, so I was left here alone.
And where did they go?
Hard to say. One said he'd head towards Prague. The other decided to go wherever his legs take him. But as for where they are now, I've no clue. They both said they'd return in a year, but they never did. I hope I get to see them again.
I hear you've got Wanderer's blood, and you're getting ready to leave, just like them. I'm a bit of a wanderer myself. Will you take me with you?
This again? Just you wait. I'll show you, just like I'll show anyone who talks about me like that.
When you say show, do you mean run away? I've heard that's all you can do. At least that's what everyone says.
Come on then. You ask for it. Fuck you, whoreson!
Take that!
Christ! I'm hit! Show what you're made of!